True love often expresses itself through silence, not just words. In a world increasingly defined by constant noise, endless messaging, and the demand for visible affirmation, we are tempted to equate the frequency of verbal expression with the depth of emotional connection. We expect love to be declared, repeated, and posted. We crave the reassurance of words because they are immediate and easily measured. Yet, beneath this surface-level desire lies a deeper, quieter truth, that the most profound love is often wordless. When two people share a genuine bond, they frequently find themselves speaking less and understanding more. There's no need to constantly explain or validate feelings when the connection runs deep. A shared glance, a comforting presence, or a simple act of kindness speaks to the heart in ways that words simply cannot replicate. This kind of silence is not the cold distance of emotional withdrawal. Rather, it is the warm, secure quiet of mutual understanding. It emerges when both individuals feel seen and accepted, when the presence of the other brings peace rather than pressure. True love doesn't require a constant performance to prove itself. It thrives in stillness, in the in-between moments that are often overlooked. The silence after a long day when no one feels the need to fill the air, or the quiet reassurance of a hand held tightly in a time of uncertainty. These moments are not voids but vessels, carrying the weight and depth of love without the clutter of language. Much of what is meaningful in human connection cannot be reduced to words. Language is limited, clumsy even, when it tries to encapsulate the depth of affection, loyalty, or compassion. Words are often filtered, shaped, and in some cases manipulated. Silence, however, offers no such mask. It is raw, honest, and inescapable. To sit in silence with someone and feel at ease is a sign that love is not dependent on performance, but grounded in presence. It takes a certain courage to be silent with someone you love, to be fully present without distraction, without the safety of small talk. That silence reveals the strength of the bond and the comfort of true intimacy. Moreover, the ability to be silent together implies a deep respect. It acknowledges that the other person does not need to be entertained or constantly reassured. It reflects the understanding that just being there, in each other's presence, is enough. In those wordless moments, love becomes less about saying and more about being attentive, being supportive, being real. And it is in that being, in that mutual presence, that true love reveals itself. When someone truly loves you, their silence will not be empty. It will be full of care, of attention, of meaning. It will speak louder than any carefully crafted phrase or romantic speech. It is in that kind of silence that love not only exists, but flourishes. Silence in love reflects understanding, trust, and emotional presence. It is one of the most profound indicators of a bond that transcends the surface level of communication. While words are often seen as the primary way to express love, it is within silence that love often finds its most sincere and unshakable form. When two people can sit together in stillness, without anxiety, awkwardness, or the need to fill the space with words, it speaks to a level of emotional security that many never experience. That kind of silence is not empty, it is rich with meaning. It signals that both people feel safe, understood, and accepted in each other's company. Understanding in love is not always about perfect agreement or constant dialogue. It is about feeling seen and heard even when nothing is being said. Silence offers a space where two people can align without negotiating their feelings out loud. It creates room for presence, a quiet acknowledgement of each other's essence, where no explanation is needed. When love is mature and grounded, partners do not constantly seek validation through conversation. Instead, they intuitively know each other's emotional states, needs, and boundaries. This level of understanding allows silence to become not a gap, but a bridge between two souls. Trust is at the heart of this silence. To be silent with someone you love, and to be okay in that silence, means that you trust them deeply. There is no fear of being misunderstood, no pressure to entertain or appease. It is a shared stillness built on confidence in the relationship. You trust that your silence won't be misread as distance or disinterest. You trust that being quiet doesn't make your love invisible, but rather that it communicates something more genuine than repeated words could ever capture. It is the trust that says, "You are enough, and I don't need to be anyone other than myself with you." That kind of trust cannot be rushed. It is earned over time, through consistent care, reliability, and emotional honesty. Emotional presence is perhaps the most subtle and powerful element revealed in love's silence. Presence is not merely physical. It is emotional availability, attentiveness, and shared awareness. When someone is emotionally present, they are fully with you in the moment, even when not speaking. Their body language, their gaze, their stillness, all contribute to a silent yet vibrant connection. This presence can be more healing and affirming than any comforting phrase. It allows for emotional attunement, where one partner senses the other's inner state without needing to ask. In moments of grief, joy, tension, or calm, emotional presence transforms silence into a sacred space of unity. It says without saying, "I am here with you, I understand, I care." Silence in love is not the absence of communication. It is the presence of something deeper. It is a profound statement made without sound, an invisible thread that binds two people through mutual understanding, trust, and emotional presence that words alone can rarely achieve. Modern culture overemphasizes verbal expression as proof of love. In an age driven by social media, instant messaging, and public declarations, the spoken or written word has become the primary currency of emotional validation. Love today is often measured by how often one says, "I love you," how many romantic texts are exchanged, or how frequently a relationship is showcased online. We are surrounded by a constant demand for visible and verbal affirmations, as though love must always be declared, documented, and displayed in order to be real. This creates a subtle pressure that if something isn't said, it isn't felt. If it isn't posted, it isn't happening. As a result, the quieter, more intimate expressions of love are often overlooked or undervalued. This cultural shift places enormous emphasis on what is said, sometimes at the expense of what is actually done. Love becomes performative, and the depth of a relationship is often judged by others based on outward expressions rather than inward experience. People begin to equate words with commitment, and when words are absent, they assume the feelings are too. But this isn't always true. Words are important, of course. They can heal, connect, and reassure. But they can also deceive, distract, or become routine. They can be spoken without meaning, rehearsed without sincerity. When overused or expected too frequently, words may lose their impact. In contrast, love that is shown through actions, presence, and quiet consistency often speaks louder, even if it is not shouted from the rooftops. In relationships, some of the most powerful moments happen in silence. Sitting together without speaking, yet feeling completely at ease. Offering a supportive hand without being asked. Simply being present during hard times without needing to explain everything away. These are expressions of love that go beyond language. Yet in modern culture, these acts are often dismissed as insufficient or secondary. We have come to associate love with grand gestures and emotional speeches, forgetting that many of the strongest bonds are built in the unspoken. This focus on verbal expression can also create misunderstandings between people who love differently. Some express affection freely through words, while others are more reserved and demonstrate their care through consistency, loyalty, and presence. When one partner values verbal affirmation above all else, they may overlook the many ways love is being offered without words. The danger in this cultural mindset is that we start to doubt the reality of love unless it fits a specific script, one shaped more by movies and social norms than by genuine connection. Love is not always loud. It doesn't need a spotlight or an audience. It doesn't require constant narration. Sometimes the most honest and enduring love is quiet, steady, and unassuming. Modern culture's obsession with verbal proof risks drowning out these subtle, but deeply authentic, forms of connection. It leads us to look for love in the wrong places and to miss it when it's right in front of us, unspoken, but unmistakably present. Meaningful silence is a sign of emotional maturity in relationships. It is a powerful reflection of comfort, security, and a deep connection that does not rely on constant verbal interaction. When two individuals can share silence without discomfort, it indicates a relationship built on trust and mutual understanding. There is no urgency to fill the space with words or to prove affection through noise. Instead, there is a quiet confidence that the bond between them exists beyond the need for continuous affirmation. Emotional maturity allows people to recognize that not everything has to be said, and not every moment must be filled with dialogue to have meaning. In immature relationships, silence is often misinterpreted. It may be seen as avoidance, indifference, or emotional distance. People may panic in silence, fearing it means something is wrong. But in emotionally mature relationships, silence is not threatening, it is calming. It provides space for reflection, peace, and simply being together without performance or pressure. This kind of silence acknowledges that being emotionally present doesn't always require words. Sometimes, just being near each other is enough. The silence between mature partners is not a void to escape from. It is a shared space where both people feel held, respected, and accepted. Such silence is often the setting for growth and healing. In moments of conflict or emotional intensity, mature partners do not rush to fill the air with explanations or defenses. They allow silence to create room for thought, for understanding, for emotional regulation. They resist the temptation to win an argument through loudness or speed. Instead, they trust that the relationship can hold the tension and that clarity often arises not in speaking more, but in pausing long enough to hear what is unspoken. Emotional maturity respects the role of silence in deepening connection rather than weakening it. Furthermore, meaningful silence demonstrates that both individuals are secure enough in themselves and in each other not to fear quiet moments. There is no performance anxiety, no need to constantly entertain or impress. There is simply an appreciation for presence, for being together without needing to fill every moment. This kind of silence can be the most intimate experience two people share. It strips away distraction and pretense, leaving only the truth of how they feel in each other's company. When silence is comfortable and mutual, it reflects a level of emotional development that supports lasting love. It means both partners have grown beyond the early need for constant reassurance and have entered a deeper stage of relationship where peace, trust, and mutual presence are valued above drama or validation. They are not afraid of quiet because they know it does not mean absence. It means ease. It means being fully with one another in the moment without judgment or fear. In such relationships, silence is not a lack of love, it is its fullest expression. Nonverbal communication often conveys more than speech ever can. While words are the most direct way we communicate, they are only a small part of the emotional and relational language we use. Tone of voice, facial expressions, gestures, eye contact, physical proximity, and even silence itself can reveal emotions and intentions more powerfully than any spoken sentence. In the context of love, nonverbal cues often communicate things that words cannot capture. Subtleties of feeling, moments of vulnerability, and the deep, intuitive understanding that builds real connection. A single look can express affection, concern, frustration, or joy in ways that may take paragraphs to explain. In intimate relationships, people often begin to understand each other on a level where words become less necessary. A gentle touch on the shoulder can offer comfort that no sentence could match. A shared smile across a room can reaffirm a bond more strongly than 1,000 I love yous. The way someone listens with their body, their attention, and their presence can convey respect and care far beyond a verbal apology or explanation. These nonverbal signals are often more genuine because they are harder to control or fabricate. While words can be carefully chosen or manipulated, body language tends to reveal what is truly felt inside. One of the most powerful aspects of nonverbal communication is its ability to convey emotional truth. When someone says, "I'm fine," but their posture is slumped and their expression heavy, we intuitively know that they are not fine at all. In such cases, it is the nonverbal message that carries the emotional weight. In loving relationships, this sensitivity to each other's unspoken messages becomes a foundation for empathy and emotional attunement. Partners who are attuned to each other nonverbally can often sense when something is wrong or when support is needed without being told. They respond not just to what is said, but to what is felt. Nonverbal communication also plays a central role in conflict resolution and reconciliation. A sincere embrace, a soft gaze, or simply sitting close during a difficult moment can do more to repair a rift than any carefully worded explanation. These acts speak to the heart, bypassing the ego's need to argue and defend. They offer something more primal and deeply human: connection through presence. When words fail or fall short, it is often nonverbal gestures that carry the message of love, forgiveness, or solidarity through the moment. What makes nonverbal communication so rich in meaning is that it is grounded in authenticity. It is often spontaneous and rooted in the unconscious, revealing emotions that might be too complex or overwhelming to express in words. In love, these moments of nonverbal expression, holding hands, lingering eye contact, shared silence, become the true language of intimacy. They are the moments when people feel seen, known, and valued not for what they say, but for who they are. Through these unspoken exchanges, love is not just declared, it is deeply felt and unmistakably understood. Love lives not just in spoken promises, but in the quiet, shared spaces. It is easy to be captivated by the grandeur of romantic declarations and poetic vows, to believe that love is proven through dramatic gestures and passionate speeches. But the truest form of love often exists not in those loud, glittering moments, but in the stillness between them. It is found in the everyday silence that two people share, a silence that holds comfort rather than tension, familiarity rather than absence. These quiet spaces, often unnoticed and uncelebrated, carry the most enduring and honest parts of a relationship. In those ordinary moments, the calm after a long day, sitting together in a room without speaking, sharing a meal in silence, walking side by side with nothing needing to be said, love is quietly alive. It doesn't demand attention, nor does it perform for approval. It simply is. These moments may seem small from the outside, but within them lies a profound sense of connection. They are where companionship deepens, where two people begin to feel not just like lovers or partners, but like extensions of each other's inner lives. Spoken promises have their place, of course. They give shape to our intentions and provide structure to our commitments. But they are only as strong as the quiet moments that surround them. A promise means little if it is not upheld in the subtle ways love is maintained. Through presence, through patience, through the steady rhythm of choosing one another again and again in the small, silent spaces of life. Words can falter or fade, but what is practiced in quiet becomes habit, becomes truth, becomes home. Quiet shared spaces in love also reveal emotional safety. They signal that both individuals feel at ease in each other's presence, without the need to constantly entertain or impress. There is no pressure to perform, no need to fill the silence with conversation for fear of discomfort. There is simply the comfort of knowing that being together is enough. This emotional safety is not built in moments of passion or excitement, but in the calm and ordinary rhythms of shared life. It is in those moments where love is not just felt, but known. These spaces also allow for reflection, growth, and a deepened sense of belonging. In the silence, we begin to notice the subtle details, the way the other person breathes, how they smile at something unspoken, how their presence brings peace. These are the pieces of love that cannot be captured in words. Yet they define the experience of truly being with someone. The quiet presence of a loved one can be a source of grounding, a reminder that we are not alone in the world. In those moments, we don't need grand expressions to feel secure. We need the gentle, unwavering presence of someone who stays. Love, then, is not merely in what we promise aloud, but in how we exist together in silence. It is in the quiet spaces that love settles, grows roots, and becomes real.